him telling her to stop, and also them just getting into a physical altercation. Mr. Gaskins did have cuts to his head, neck, and arm, and bruises on his forearm. Defendant McCrae advised officers that the parties were arguing because Mr. Gaskins had cheated on her and Mr. Gaskins got physical with her. She also provided an audio recording where it sounded like Mr. Gaskins was indeed getting physical with Defendant McCrae. Defendant McCrae had bruises to her forehead, the left side of her neck, as well as a cut to her lower lip and the back of her arm. Mr. Gaskins did admit to officers that he did push Ms. McCrae at one point during their altercation. The state's recommendation would be similar to Mr. Gaskins. We would recommend that Defendant McCrae get a signature bond through pretrial services, no further contact with Reginald Gaskins, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. Because Mr. Gaskins received a stay away, we would not be asking the court for a stay away to apply to Ms. McCrae.
Okay. PD. Don't know whose case is this.
This is pro se, Your Honor.
Oh, this is one of the, okay. Ms. McCrae,
Ma'am?
I understand you wish to represent yourself today, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I can't hear you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you understand there could be consequences to representing yourself if you don't know the laws or what to do to represent yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
And hopefully you won't make any statements against your interests, but again, you're taking the risk of representing yourself. And you appreciate and understand those risks and want to go forward?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
How old are you?
I'm 42.
Do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Have any children?
No, I don't.
And so this, the incident location is at your residence?
Yes, a shared residence. Yes. My niece is staying with us too, so I am watching her.
How old is she?
She's 19 until she goes back to college.
Okay. And who's the us? Who else lives there with you?
Reggie Gaskins.
Okay, well, he can't because he has a stay away, right? So he can't live there anymore while he's on bond because he has to stay away. You aware of that?
Understood. Yes, ma'am. No.
Okay, so if I allow you to stay there, then he can't.
Understood.
Okay. And you're from Georgia?
I'm originally from Huntsville, Alabama. I lived in Atlanta for college.
Okay. So you've been in Georgia how long?
Recently moved back in December of last year, the end of December, beginning of this year.
So you'll come back to court? You intend to stay here?
Yes, yes, Your Honor, and for court, yes.
Okay. All right. As long as you show back up, keep in touch with or get a counsel or something later. I will go ahead and give you a $3,000 signature bond. And I'll make that signature bond through pretrial level 1. Going to order you to have no further contact with Mr. Gaskins. No further contact. And I'm going to order no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, we're going to bring up the next conflict. It's going to be position 17 and position number 18, Mr. Michael Thompson.
This is 24 CR 005416J. Michael Thompson, charged with 1 count of simple battery, family violence, offense date April 28th, 2024. Second case, 24 CR 005417J. He's charged with 1 count of simple battery family violence. And that offense date is 5/19/2024. Are they the same victims?
Yes, they are the same victim.
Pretrial,
16, 2023 probation, 2023 battery DV arrest, 2016 unlawful participate in criminal street gang conviction, 2013 unlawful for a jail inmate to possess controlled substance conviction. That's it.
okay.
I do also see that he has a 2023 battery family violence conviction with the same victim, Stanleisha Johnson, where part of his plea that he entered into was that he had no further contact with the victim. And that case is 23 CR 000067A. The first incident that occurred April 28th, 2024, the victim, Stanleisha Johnson, stated that she was asleep in her bedroom when the defendant woke her up and started beating her by striking her head multiple times. She was able to get away from the residence, but the defendant followed her. She eventually was able to call the police. There is a witness, Miss Sheila Hutchins, who stated that she was walking to the store when she observed the defendant strike the victim in the head. The victim also stated the defendant uses drugs such as meth regularly. The second incident that happened May 19th, the victim stated the defendant came home around 3 to 4 a.m. and began hitting her multiple times in the head and face. She ran away again to prevent further assault and was able to report the assault to the Zone 4 police precinct. Given that he has now 2 cases against her, including a 2023 battery family violence conviction where he was ordered to have no further contact, the state's recommendation for each count of simple battery is $2,500 surety, no further contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, and FVIP, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Ms. Stanleisha Johnson.
Ms. Denisha Johnson on the Zoom. All right, go ahead. Is it PD McLean or whom?
This is a conflict. I don't think there's a conflict attorney.
Conflict, Your Honor.
Say, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson, you representing yourself?
I just want to, I don't really understand what's the conflict.
They don't have an attorney for you. They have an internal conflict in their office as to why they cannot represent you. Do you want representation? Or do you want to represent yourself?
I represent myself, man.
You understand the consequences as you got to know the law and what to do and what not to do. We're not going to help you with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We'll go forward, let you represent yourself. How old are you?
I'm 35.
Do you work?
No, ma'am. I want to.
You and Miss Johnson are in a relationship or were or are? Which is it?
Well, we in a relationship, I guess. I don't know. I spoke with her yesterday and I told her what was going on and she acted like she didn't know what was going on. And so hopefully she'll speak with y'all and we can clear it all up. I don't know.
All right. Are you from Georgia?
Yeah, ma'am.
Where are you from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
I'm sorry.
Atlanta, Georgia.
That's what I just asked. Are you from Georgia? And you said, no, I'm from Atlanta.
No, I said Atlanta, Georgia.
Are you born and raised here?
Yes, ma'am.
High school graduate or not?
I completed the 11th grade.
Okay. GED?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any children with Miss Johnson?
No, ma'am.
And you'll have somewhere else to go stay to not go back there with her. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. My plan was to go to Grady where a couple people had approached me on about getting help. So I was thinking about going there.
And going where now?
To Grady Hospital.
Grady
Yes,
Hospital?
Yes, ma'am, because a couple people had approached me about getting help and stuff like that, so I think I would just take that opportunity and go there right
And
now.
check yourself in for drug rehab. Is that what you're meaning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That would be smart. All right, I'm going to give you a $2,500 surety bond on this first case. I want you to stop having cases with Ms. Johnson or anybody else for that matter.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
$2,500 surety bond, and I want you to enroll in a drug rehab program. I don't really care where it is, just as long as it's a legitimate program to get you some help. I want you to stay away from Miss Johnson while you're on bond. No unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while you're on bond. And that would be for the first case. And then the state recommended the same for the second case.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and I will do the same for the second case, 2,500 surety. It's all the same conditions, all right?
Excuse me, ma'am. I mean, excuse me, Your Honor. I don't want to make no bond, so is it a way you can help me, like, lower my bond or something? So I can get up out of here quicker? I mean, it's not just about getting out, but I can't make a bond. I won't tell you no lie. I'll still be just coming into your courtroom.
Well, you have 16 cycles, convictions, probation violations. So I don't know, are you going to come back to court anyway?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I will come back to court. I'm not a flight risk.
Well, I don't know. If you've got a drug problem, you might be. I don't know. If you're
I
ready to
don't,
get help.
I promise I don't have a drug problem. I can stop any drug that I like to do at any time. I don't have a drug problem. I promise I don't.
Well, he
Um,
stated that he was going to Grady to get help for a drug problem. So I would argue that he does have a drug problem. He can't stop at any time, otherwise he would have. And this is his third case that we know of with the same victim where he's being violent towards her. So I would be opposed to any type of signature bond whatsoever.
All right. And that is my inclination as well. This is a third case, so same victim.
Same
Excuse
victim.
me, Your Honor, how could I go get some help if I'm sitting in jail trying to get a bond, trying to pay a bond?
I don't know. Well, that's what you're going to have to figure out, or hire you an attorney to help you out. They can request for a bond modification if you can't bond out. But normally I would give a cash bond, especially when you keep abusing the same victim. So I'm being a little nice to you today by not giving you cash bond for the third case against the same victim. So let's see what happens, if you can bond out or not. Then you need to get in a private attorney and then figure out how to apply for a modification. But you'll come back up on the calendar for August 15th if you haven't bonded out by.
Your Honor, I have a birthday coming up August 12th.
I'm
So
sorry?
I said I have a birthday coming August 12th.
And you're going to ask me if I care. I don't know. That may be something that'll get your attention. You'll spend your birthday at the Fulton County Jail. Then maybe you'll be inclined to get your true help when you get out and won't come back.
Right.
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be, position number 1, Ms. Bridget Bates.
This is 24 CR 005408B, Bridget Bates. One count of battery, family violence.
6 total. 2022 unlawful conduct during 911 call. 2010 ag assault dismiss. 08 simple assault conviction.
All right. State.
Yes, Your Honor. Officers arrived at the incident location 3044 Washington Road in East Point and met with the victim Gregory Murray, who they observed with lacerations to the right side of his face, and he also had complaints of a head injury. The victim told officers that he fell. They then made contact with the defendant, who advised that her and her husband, Mr. Murray, had been drinking that morning and he fell outside. Officers did observe what looked like dried blood on the defendant's hand that did not appear to be hers. Officers met with the witness with the initials of ET, who advised that she was walking outside and saw the defendant grab the victim by his shirt and throw him to the ground while she was yelling, "I caught you with that crackhead." Officers observed that both parties were intoxicated at the time. Our office has had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Murray, who stated that, him and the defendant are married. They do live together, but they share no children. He stated the defendant never hit him and he does not recall how he sustained his injuries. He further stated they have never had a violent altercation in the past and that he is not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact. The state's recommendation would be a signature bond through pretrial services at level 2 or 3, no further violent contact with the victim, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. And I would ask the court to sound for the victim, Mr. Gregory Murray, at this time.
And that victim's name is Mr. Gregory. What's the last name?
Murray, Murray.
Murray?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Murray, Gregory Murray. All right, he's not there. PD Cook.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, we would have no objection except to the anger awareness class. Beyond that, we have no objection to the recommendation.
Okay. I will order $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. No further violent contact with Mr. Gregory Murray. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. And I believe there was no stay away, right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. And that'll be it.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 5, Ms. Tyquisha Clark.
Okay. 24 CR 005412Y. Tyquisha Clark, charge of 1 count of batteries, family violence, pretrial.
Fifth arrest. 2018 probation. 2017 ag assault not presented to grand jury.
Okay.
That's all.
This
State.
incident occurred August 1st, 2024. Officers arrived at the incident location 960 Constitution Road Southeast and spoke with the defendant, who advised that her uncle, the victim, Mario Jackson, who she claims is a rapist, was sitting in the living room and she walked by and said, "Ew." And then he said that he would shoot and kill her and pulled a metal rod from the couch and struck her in the face with it. The defendant had a small cut to the side of her cheek. The victim, Mr. Jackson, stated that he was sitting on the couch when the defendant passed by and said "ew" and called him a bitch, and then began punching him multiple times in the head and bit his shoulder. He stated that he never hit her back, and he stated that he definitely never hit her with a metal rod. Officers did observe a bite mark on the victim's shoulder. Officers then spoke with Miss Jamila Ruffin, who is the defendant's grandmother, who stated that when she came downstairs, she saw the defendant punching the victim and saw the defendant bite the victim in the shoulder. She did not see the victim use any object to strike the defendant. Ms. Ruffin stated that both the defendant and the victim had been living with her on and off for about 4 years. Officers determined that the defendant was the primary aggressor. Our office has spoken with both Mr. Jackson and Ms. Ruffin. Ms. Ruffin stated that the incident location is her residence, and she confirmed the event in the warrant. Mr. Jackson stated this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards him, but this is the first time they've called the police. Ms. Ruffin, the defendant's grandmother, stated the defendant cannot return to the residence at this time. The state's recommendation is to stay away from the incident location, no further contact with the victim, Mario Jackson, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. The state is gonna recommend $1,000 surety bond. However, if the court is inclined to give a signature bond, we would ask that as a condition of that bond, she just be required to take at least a 2-day anger awareness class. And I would ask the court to sound for the victim in this case, Mr. Mario Jackson.
Mr. Mario Jackson on the Zoom.
Don't do that, don't do that. Play some loud. Come on. Yo, give me some napkins, please.
All right, go ahead, PD Cook.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, we would be seeking a signature bond at whatever level the court deems appropriate. We would object to the anger management. And for the record, my client denies the allegations as set forward in the warrant. She was acting in self-defense. This man has attacked her according to her conversation with me on several occasions. So again, she has somewhere else to go, so we would not object to a stairway.
How old is she?
She is 27.
Does she work?
She's not working at the moment, Your Honor.
I see someone on the screen as a T. Clark supporter. Okay. All right.
We would not be opposed to a signature bond, Your Honor.
All right. I will grant a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. Level 1. 2-day anger awareness course. No unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And stay away from that incident location. She needs to go find somewhere else to live. And no further contact with the uncle Mario Jackson while on bond. And I think that's it. Anything else, counsel? Did I miss anything?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing else, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 6, Ms. Victoria Ebo.
This is 24 CR 005413F. Victoria Ebo, charged at 1 count of simple battery, family violence, pretrial.
First arrest. I think she's one out of Rockdale though.
Okay. State.
Yes, Your Honor. Officers arrived at the incident location 410 Wendell Drive, Atlanta, in regards to a domestic dispute call. They observed the defendant, who did not have any clothes on, standing over a male who was sitting on the steps. The defendant told officers that she had hit the victim because he was going to break up with her and she didn't want him to. The victim, Mr. Marcus Reed, stated that the defendant always hits him and he's tired of it, and all he was trying to do was get to work when the defendant grabbed him by his jacket, slapped him in the head, and pushed him. Our office has spoken with the victim, who stated that they are in a relationship. They live together, but they share no children. He stated the incident location is his residence, but the defendant has been living there for about 7 months. He further confirms the events in the warrant and confirmed this is not the first time the defendant has been violent towards him, but this is the first time police have been involved. He said that he has been kicked out of his apartment due to this incident, but he is okay with no violent contact. The state's recommendation would be a signature bond through pretrial services, given that this is her first arrest, but we would be recommending a no further contact with the victim, Marcus Reed, as he told us that this is not the first time that, they've had an incident. This is not the first time that she's been violent towards him. And also this incident occurred yesterday, so we definitely need some cooling down time. Stay away from the incident location at this time, anger awareness, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. I'm not sure if she needs a BHET, but given the facts in the warrant, that might be something that is appropriate, but I'm sure the PD can speak more to that.
Your Honor, I didn't find any, in my discussion with her, I didn't find any reason to think of BHET, but she would, of course, agree with the signature bond. I'm not sure the no further contact is necessary. We'll leave that to the court's discretion. If they have a day of anger awareness, she does. No further violent contact would be suitable because there'd be a little counsel.
All right, I believe I see Marcus Reed on the line. Mr. Reed, you're the victim in this case.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you wish to address the court, yes or no?
I don't mind. Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand so I can swear you in first. Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, put your hand down for me. Are you in fear of Miss Victoria Ebo?
No, ma'am.
Do you want to have any further contact with her?
Yes, ma'am.
You all are residing together?
Currently, yes, where we were, via the incident yesterday, I have to move.
Okay. How long have you resided there?
About, I believe, 7 or 8 months.
Okay. All right. Any cross-examination questions?
None, Your Honor.
Okay. How old are you, Mr. Reed?
26.
Okay. And you work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This is
All
not
right.
the first time, I'm sorry, Your Honor. This is not the first time that Ms. Ebo has been violent with you, is that correct?
No, ma'am. I mean, yes, ma'am.
She's been violent with you before?
Yes.
Have you called the police before?
No, ma'am.
Nothing further.
All right. PD McClain?
Further, Your Honor, we do have a person here who is local and her entire time first arrest. She is looking forward to a job she has in mind. She's not currently employed. She has,
She hold out of Rockdale? She going to Rockdale?
well, she'll be, that's just a one count traffic offense. It shouldn't be much problem, but she will have to run over to Rockdale on that hold. Her mother is local as well, and I think the family's going to help her. It's possible maybe they can pay a fine in advance and avoid the Rockdale trip, but maybe not.
Okay.
But we mentioned we agree with the signature bond through pretrial.
All right. I'm going to order $3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Your Honor.
Yes. Why are you interrupting?
If I wanted to, if I may ask something, or if I may say something, I'm
Quickly, because I don't like to be interrupted, but quickly.
Okay, I'm sorry. Miss Victoria, she isn't a bad person, although this has happened many times. She's dealing with her own trauma because she's been a part of a abusive home. So things like that do transfer over. If anything, I would like for her to be able to get some help.
Okay, well, she's gonna have to do that
If
on her own. Okay, this is not her trial, this is bond hearing. But I will say to her, if she doesn't want to continue coming back to the Fulton County Jail, she's got to stop and get some help for herself. Okay, maybe you can't do that for her, I don't know. But if she doesn't get a control of her emotions, she'll be back here. All right, $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. I'm going to order a 2-day anger awareness course.
Yo, man.
I'm going to order that. I'm sorry, was that the defendant?
That was me, Your Honor.
Oh, okay.
I'm Officer Norris.
2-day anger awareness course. I'm going to order her to, I guess she doesn't have a place to go back to, but she needs to find somewhere else to live. And I'm going to order no further contact with you right now so that this can cool over. It hasn't even been 24 hours. And as for your safety, Mr. Reed, and maybe it'll also force the defendant to get some help. No unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bonds. It's going to be a stay away from each other. And that's 200 yards, 2 football fields, no contact, no texting, no social media posts, no contact with third parties. Need to make sure this is ready to cool down. All right.
Judge, what level?
Level 2. Okay. All right, that's it.
John,
If they want to take you back. Yeah. Next, Your Honor, is going to be position number 14, Ms. Saunders.
This is 24 CR 005422J. Tamia Saunders, charged with 1 count of battery, family violence, and 2 counts of cruelty to children in the third. Pre-trial.
I got first arrest.
Okay.
Your Honor, that's my information too. This is my case. The victim in this case, his name is Michael Benton. This is an incident that occurred on the 1st of August at the location where they reside, 1212 James Jackson Parkway. Police responded to a dispute with a weapon call. On the scene, they spoke to the victim, Mr. Benton, who was outside. He reported being assaulted by the defendant as he was laying in the bed in their home with their 2 daughters, Talia and Trinity. He reported that she came in and started striking him in the face, and then she went into the kitchen. He thought she was going to go get a weapon. He ran into the bathroom and called 911. When he was able to, he fled outside with the girls to wait for the police. Police spoke with her. She said that she went into the bedroom and asked him to lay down, and that he became aggressive. She admitted punching him in the face. He was observed to have a cut to his upper lip. This is my understanding that it's her first arrest, excuse me. We'd asked for an $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Your Honor, there are 2 children present during this altercation, and no contact. I think we have tried to get in touch with the victim. We just have not been successful. So until we hear further, that's what we'd be requesting. I'm not sure how old the children are.
Okay. PD Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Children are 4 years and 6 years old, Your Honor. We have no objection except the stay away that place is her place and she wants to file eviction so that way he can be removed. He has been there for about 3 weeks, but she wants to make sure that she will be able to get him out of the place. She has no objection to no contact and things like that. She is not employed. She is employed at Sandy Springs, but because she doesn't have any child support that she's collecting, her income is very minimal, and she's still qualified for public defender's service. That's about it, Your Honor.
Right. I will order the $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. It'll be 1,000 on the battery, 500 on each of the cruelties. No further contact with Mr. Benton. And I guess the 2 daughters at this time. There's going to be a stay away from that incident location. No further contact with all 3 victims in the case right now. She's to find somewhere else to go live and get some help. I will order her to take the 2-day anger awareness course through pretrial. I will make her a level 1 and no unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
What's that bond amount?
2,000.
You said level 1. What's the contact?
No further contact.
Thank you.
Next, we will go to position number 16, Mrs. South.
Miss Helen Allen, can you put the victims of the children in the chat, please?
Absolutely.
It's a first arrest for number 16.
Okay.
Jail was a recommendation.
You're muted.
The defendant is accused of breaking the side door window of Tawana Kendrick. Ms. Kendrick observed the defendant on her Ring camera damaging the door. The defendant was having an altercation with the father of her child, Marion Kendrick, at the time she broke the door window because he was with another woman inside the residence. The defendant did admit to breaking the door because she was upset with Mr. Kendrick. Our office has spoken with Ms. Tawana Kendrick, who stated that she wasn't present during the incident, but she kept getting alerted by her Ring camera. And when she looked on the camera, she saw the defendant trying to get inside the residence where Mr. Kendrick was at the time and broke the glass on the door. She stated that her son does not live at the residence and this is her home. And now the glass door is broken and the home is insecure. She wants the defendant to pay for the damages and also wants the defendant not to come back to her residence. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Tawana Kendrick. Stay away from that incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. Well, it can be through the jail if that was pretrial's recommendation.
All right. Edie Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Miss South, is 25 years young. She was born and raised here in Georgia. She's gainfully employed. She's working at a life insurance company. She graduated from high school, and also they have one child who is 2 years old. So she does definitely need a third-party transfer. She needs to have a one-time law enforcement officer escorted visit if she has to stay away from that location. She has no objection to stay away and no further contact. And we will recommend for a signature on by through jail.
The incident location is her child's father's mother's house. I don't know that she lives there. And the no further contact was with Tawana Kendrick, who is her child's father's mother.
No objection.
I'm going to order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. I'm going to order no further contact with Tawana Kendrick. Stay away from the incident location. I'm not going to get involved, I guess, with the visitation. The child is not a victim. Is that correct or not? She's got to stay away from, this is the grandmother. I
Yes,
don't know that. Yeah, am I ordering to stay away from the father as well?
the recommendation was just to stay away from the grandmother.
Because this is the grandmother's house, but the father was there.
Yes, he was there, but he does not live there.
And Ms.
Okay.
Moke, can you put the victim's name in the chat, please?
Yes, of course.
Tawana Kendrick. All right, no further contact with her. Guess she just needs to be careful, govern herself accordingly, Miss South. But for giving you the bond through jail, I was going to order some anger management courses for you. Maybe you should take some on your own so that you don't end up back down here. No unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. I guess that's all out order for right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 4, Mr. Deshaun Burns.
This is 24 CR 0054009G, Deshaun Burns. Charge of 1 count of theft of services, 2nd count willful obstruction.
Ninth arrest, resident of Michigan. 2019 public peace, 2010 public drunk. That's it.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. The incident location is Blue Lounge located at 264 Far Road, Northeast Atlanta. The defendant entered the restaurant July 31st around 10 p.m. with a group of women and ordered $318 worth of drinks, food, and hookah, and then left the location without paying. When officers made contact with him, he ran off and tried to get inside a white Jeep. After a foot chase, officers were able to detain him. The state's recommendation is a signature bond. Stay away from that incident location. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right.
That's my case, Your Honor. No objection to the recommendation.
All right. I will order a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Does he have a Georgia address or anything?
Nothing.
No, he was here visiting, Your Honor.
Will he come back for court?
He says he will.
Do I need to put him through pretrial?
No.
All right.
That ain't gonna make him come back to court.
Well, he'll be forced to keep up with you all. All right, Mr. Burns, you gonna come back to court?
Yes.
Okay. All right, 2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Blue Lounge on Far Road. No unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Your Honor, what's the breakdown?
Oh, I'm sorry, 1,000 on each.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Your Honor, is gonna be position number 7, Mr. Dewan Hendricks.
All right, 24 CR 005370C. Ron Hendricks, one count of battery, family violence, pretrial.
6 total. Last arrest, I think, was in 97 for ag assault. Went to felony yesterday. I think he got no bond, if I'm not mistaken. That's it.
Okay.
Your Honor, that's my case. This is an incident from the 14th of July, so a delayed arrest. The victim is Rhonda Hendricks, Hendrix. She's the spouse of this gentleman. She made a report to Zone 4 APD that a battery had just occurred the night before. She reported that during an argument, her husband got physical with her and punched her in the face. She had a visible bruising on her eye, and it was swollen. It should be noted that the felony case this morning is an open kidnapping, aggravated assault, and false imprisonment, where he's accused of kidnapping the same woman at knife point. He forced her into his vehicle and then drove head on into oncoming traffic, striking a semi-truck. So, although he doesn't have any recent history, he does have that current case with some very strange and violent behavior, and all of his history from the 90s include aggravated assaults, 3 different aggravated assaults. So we would be asking for a $5,000 surety bond, no contact with the victim, Mrs. Rhonda Hendricks. Stay away from wherever she may reside. No drugs, weapon, or alcohol.
All right, this case is this PD.
Yes, Your Honor, it's my case. Can y'all hear me? I think I've got my video on.
Yep, now we can see you.
Okay, Your Honor, he'd like to ask the court to either give him a signature bond or something of a surety nature and no larger than about $2,500. He does have the other case, which will be the main thing for him to take care of. But just given the nature of the allegations, we think something no more than about $2,500 would be fair.
Okay. I will order $2,500 surety bond. I will order a stay away from the residence and job of Miss Rhonda Hendricks, whatever those addresses may be. He's not to go around her, to be anywhere near her. He's to be 200 yards away, which is 2 football fields. No contact through social media, through texts, through emails, or third parties. And that's no further contact with her. No unprescribed drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. 2,500 surety.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 9, Mr. Sean Johnson.
24 CR 005411E, Sean Johnson, 1 count of criminal trespass, 2nd count of PI. Do we need to stop the live stream or what?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor, it is. It would be better.